Hey guys, so as you probably already know, I have been remaking these videos that I made over 4 years ago. But those weren't even videos, they were just slideshows. I wasn't even there, not even my voice, there was just still images with music. That's it. And they went viral a long time ago, and I didn't take advantage of that back then. But now I'm here to remake those same videos that got so popular back in the day 4 years ago, and let's find out today if something has changed, what the difference going to be between that top 10 back then and this top 10 right now. Had things changed? Have new games have been added? Some games went to a different place? Whatever, we're about to find out now. Today, what are my top 10 favorite JRPGs for the PlayStation 1. So let's begin. Number 10. Kardia, the World of Fate. This game has appeared in many other videos that I've done, since it is one of the best strategy RPGs I've ever played. It can be played with two characters, each with a completely different route than the other, within the same story, but in a very well constructed plot. It has an amazing character development, a battle system that involves the use of cards to cast all sorts of magic spells, and the ability to summon monsters to aid you on the battlefield. It includes also a beautiful soundtrack and art by the same guy who drew some of the early Final Fantasy characters. Kardia is often a pretty underrated gem, and it's still overlooked by many gamers out there who just won't give it a chance. Like in every single video that I've talked about it, once again, I'm going to recommend it. Seriously, you can't miss this one out. Number 9. Wild Arms 2. I'm a fan of this series, and Wild Arms 2 is one of my favorites from it. Some of you will actually say that the first one should be here instead, but even though that game is also great, with a lot of charm and a beautiful setting, I still prefer the second Ignition by far. The variety of characters and their excellent development, the improved battle system, the music, the graphics, and a much more fun gameplay makes it, in my opinion, better than the first one. I love this game and its use of firearms, entangled with the use of magic spells, items, puzzles, and a different character's point of view. It also has one of those very interesting stories that will easily top some of the all-time classics in JRPG history. Check it out if you haven't played it, because it is also a very underrated game. Number 8. Vandal Hearts. Speaking about underrated games, here's Vandal Hearts, which topped my Hidden Gems video from last year. It's a very short game, nothing longer than 15 to 20 hours, but those hours, man, they're totally worth it. I have applauded this game many times before it for its huge variety on gameplay mechanics, how it is not only your everyday tactical RPG, but one in which you have to accomplish a very different goal almost every single mission. Apart from that, it's got one hell of a story, very mature and not about teenagers saving the world. So it's a realistic environment with a crude atmosphere and some bloody moments. You can already tell that I fell in love with this game the second I started playing it, so I think it's needless to say that I strongly recommend it. Number 7. Star Ocean: The Second Story. So if we're gonna talk about all-time classics, surely Star Ocean: The Second Story cannot be left out. It's the very first one I played from the series and the one that got me into it. Some people will actually say it's the absolute best Star Ocean ever, far superior than any other. And while I don't agree with that last statement, I do admit the fact that it is simply the best. It's an action RPG in which you can choose between two different protagonists, although it's pretty much the same story and the same plot, slightly changing into points of view. The soundtrack, the 2D battle system, the exploration, the story, characters, Man, truly a wonderful science fiction RPG that should be played by everybody. No wonder it's an all-time classic that often compares and competes with the big names out there. Number 6. Xenogears. Xenogears is a masterpiece, and probably should be on the first places of my list, as it originally was on that video 4 years ago. But the truth is that despite having a fantastic setting, an excellent soundtrack composed by Yasunori Mitsuda, a very well developed cast of characters and, in my opinion, the absolute best story ever written for an RPG, the gameplay can be quite tedious at times, especially in some dungeons, and the graphics will always seem a little outdated. Nevertheless, this game's a whole philosophical and intellectual journey that you just can't ignore. It's just one of those games that leave a lot inside of you, that keep you thinking and analyzing a lot of aspects in life. It is an amazing game, often among the best of its generation and praised by many, many gamers out there, of course including me. Number 5. Valkyrie Profile. The 5th place goes to one of my favorite RPG franchise's beloved titles, and that is the elusive, astonishing Valkyrie Profile, one of the most original and unique video games of its generation. I said elusive because I can't help bring out the topic on this game being one of the most expensive RPGs nowadays in the market. Could it be because it's just too damn good? You take the role of Lenneth, a Valkyrie that's on a journey to recruit fallen warriors so they can fight in the upcoming Ragnarok from the Nordic mythology. Each warrior Lenneth recruits has their own solid, interesting and well-written story, all coming together to a major plot around her. A gameplay that involves platforming and side-scrolling, battles in 2D with amazing skills to show off, a beautiful soundtrack, and a very unique style of art. I just can't keep praising this game, otherwise I'll be doing it for the entire video. Number 4. Suikoden. You know, this is my favorite video game franchise of all time, so my top 10 just couldn't be exempt of this amazing RPG. It's the one that started it all for me, even though not being the first one I played. Each Suikoden is a standalone title, although they're all connected mostly only by geography and historical facts. So the first Suikoden is very short, especially if you don't recruit all 108 characters, but that doesn't mean it should be left out. Turn-based battle system that is simply awesome. Also, those strategy and tactical battles in which you control an entire army that's only growing all the more ambitious, all united into one single goal, which involves heavy topics of politics, capitalism, history, and moral decisions. And of course, those classic and very fun fantastic duels. I've stressed this out in many other videos, but Suikoden is one of the most unique and original franchises ever made that every RP gamer needs to play. So number 3, Suikoden II, of course. This sequel, however, is a much better game. The concept of this game began before the first Suikoden, but it wasn't developed and released until much later, with a limited print run and a stock that just seemed to vanish for a while, which is the reason why a physical copy of this game nowadays is even more expensive than Valkyrie Profile. Again, it could also be because the game's just too damn good! A much better RPG than many other so-called classics out there. Not that underrated anymore, thankfully, because YouTubers like me have been making a lot of noise about it since ancient times. Suikoden 2 takes the uniqueness of the first game to a whole improved level with a very memorable story that touched a lot of people's hearts in the world. I can't praise this game enough. It's just an amazing masterpiece. Number 2. Final Fantasy IX. If there had to be at least one Final Fantasy on this list, it had to be 9, my favorite. It's the first one I played of the series, the one I fell in love with, and also the one that gave me a lot of troubles around 12 years ago, since my first copy wouldn't work properly. Then I got another one and it worked better than the first one, but still wouldn't allow me past a certain point. My third and final copy finally worked correctly. So at last I managed to get past all those awesome parts that I had been missing all along. So yes, nostalgia value, personal feelings getting involved. I'm sorry, but I just never got the same feeling with any other title of this franchise. Truly one of the most charming and conceptual RPGs I've ever played in my life. You gotta love the story, the beautiful soundtrack, the fantastic setting, and the very unique cast of characters whom you start playing with for short periods of time in many different areas and many different situations, eventually coming all together in the end. So yes, another masterpiece. Number 1. Chrono Cross. Never will I tire of talking about my beloved Chrono Cross, my favorite video game ever. Another masterpiece and one that changed my life. I've told the story before so many times that it might be growing old to you, but it will never be to me. Before this game, I had played only a couple of RPGs, which I also loved, but not enough to get me into the genre. Once I got my hands on what I thought was going to be a 2-player action game, so me and my sister could play together, however, I became hypnotized. The second I played it. Its beautiful setting, lovely characters, and peaceful feelings surrounding the mysterious landscapes that composed a fantastic atmosphere that felt just like an illusion, got me playing for several hours in a row. I lost time. Never in my life had I listened to such a mesmerizing soundtrack in a video game. Yasunori Mitsuda did the music, which is the reason why he's my favorite composer. I love this game, and I've spoken marvels about it so many times that I don't think I need to explain any further. This is, after all, the game that turned me into an RPG addict. You know guys, Chrono Cross might just be the reason why this channel exists. If it wasn't for this game, I would probably never have been an RPG addict. I would never have become one. I love this game, I owe this game so much, and it might just be the reason why this channel exists. So that's it, that's my top 10. Don't forget to share yours, your opinion, let me know what you think. But more specifically, share your own top 10. What are your 10 favorite JRPGs for the PlayStation 1? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.